Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us to discuss the final piece for the moment, or the final spin of the Championship managerial merry-go-round. A bit of a surprise, this one, to me. Marco Silva is the new Fulham boss. So we've been sat here for a while now with lots of jobs open, and the Premier League sorted themselves out with Everton and Spurs and Palace all filling up. And then all of a sudden, we realised that all of the year one parachute teams were going to be up for grabs. Obviously, Sheffield United was filled reasonably early with Jokanovic. West Brom, Allardyce was then not going to stay, and Ishmael went across. And then obviously Parker didn't stay. We'll talk about Parker in a bit. Moved to Bournemouth, which then opened up the Fulham job. I'm sure Swansea fans have been sat there for a while, nervously wondering whether Steve Cooper was going to any of these jobs, West Brom, Palace or Fulham. He'd been linked with all of them. But the job is filled here by Marco Silva. So I think we're all ready to go in the Championship. And for at least the first round of matches, we know who the managers are going to be. Obviously, we know someone will be gone by, I don't know, October time, don't we? But Marco Silva is the last one in now at Fulham. And again, like I say, the last one of those plush year one parachute jobs where, let's be honest, the expectation at any of these jobs is promotion from owners, fans of that team, and let's be honest, fans of all the other teams as well. Excuse me. So, Marco Silva. Now, this is an interesting character. This is off the Fulham website. He's been a manager for a long time. I think, did I read he was 47? I don't think it gives his age there, but he seems to have been a manager for sort of 10, 11 years. A 3-year deal with Fulham, and he's going to be assisted by Luis Boamorte. Do you remember that Jean Tigana Fulham team with Louis Saha and Boamorte up front? How good were they? So yeah, great to see him back on the bench. We'll skip out whose quotes today. Is that Shahid Khan or Tony Khan and Silva? Look, we'll just go down to the facts there in the bottom paragraph. Silva's 4th job in England, so he's been at Hull, Watford and Everton. We'll unpick that in a little bit. After transforming the fortunes of GD Estoril in his homeland, taking them from the brink of bankruptcy in the 2nd tier to the Europa League. He went on to win trophies in consecutive seasons with Sporting Club do Portugal and Olympiacos. So, very on brand now as a current championship hire. We've seen these type of people go in at Watford and Barnsley before, the ones that have been kind of successful over in Europe, and in they come. Obviously made his name in his native Portugal with that first job there. And then really, it's been English football. Obviously a bit of a COVID interruption, but smattering of jobs in English football, but none of them particularly lasting a long time. Let's have a look. So the top one there is Hull, where he was literally there for 5 months. And I believe, and I'm not massively familiar, but you can see they're 3rd from bottom, relegated. But I believe he put some fight in Hull and is very popular there. But ultimately they go down. But that is enough to get him the Watford job, which is the next one down. Now this one's far more controversial because he goes over to Watford. And he's only there, you can see, until January. But he's got them halfway up the table. And I believe then that Everton wanted to take him. And he made no secret of the fact that he wanted to go. And everything kind of fell apart there at Watford thereafter. And he ends up going in January, but not actually arriving over at Everton until the next season. So not shy. I'm making no judgment here on his personality, but not shy to leave a job quickly to go to the next one. Hey, maybe he's a bit older and a bit wiser now, and but we'll see. Everton 18-19, so that's good, isn't it? An 8th place Premier League finish with Everton. I don't think they matched that last season, did they? Maybe they might have been exactly there. I can't recall. And then he's back in the bottom 3, just a couple of months before COVID. So his timing, like the entire world's, very bad there, because obviously he loses his job with Everton in 18th, and then, you know, the lockdowns and everything hits with his stock being very low, and then basically we've done an entire season now without Marco Silva in football or English football. So look, there's definite potential there. Got Hull going, got Watford in the top half. Been interested to see what he could have built at Watford had that not fallen foul so quickly. Good season at Everton. I don't know what you think about that, what the expectations are at Everton, and then relegated. But what you can for sure say is there's lots of Premier League calibre in there, lots of Premier League seasons, and obviously he's kind of ended in the bottom 3 in 2 of those seasons, but they're only half seasons, aren't they? So he didn't ever get relegated in a full season in the Premier League, and his only full season in the Premier League was an 8th place finish. So I don't know, spin it how you like. Sort of in and out and busy and in and out of jobs, but never really failing. A very, very hard one to judge, isn't it? So that's Silva, and this is Fulham. And brace yourselves, Fulham. I'll use the term yo-yo, because over the past 4 seasons, they've got promoted, relegated, promoted, relegated. So they've been up and down. And certainly since I've been doing the channel, they've always really been challenging at the top of the Championship when they've been in there. I think they relegated the first year down 14-15. So they were the first of the 3-year parachute payments, weren't they? And actually got back in the 4th year under Slavisa Jokanovic. Remember 16-17, they lost in the playoffs after a late run, and then a late run in 17-18 to 3rd. Couldn't quite get past Neil Warnock's Cardiff, but beat Villa in the playoff final. Then up they go, Jokanovic fired, Ranieri, then Parker. And then 1920 is the promotion season with Scott Parker again through the playoffs. And we talked about this in the Scott Parker Bournemouth video, this strange sense of it being quite binary with the Year 1 parachute teams. And whilst Fulham fans were questioning Parker most of the way through the season, and there was a reliance on Mitrovic, wasn't there? He got them up. And okay, the football didn't perhaps click to the extent you could see perhaps what Fulham were trying to do and never quite making it. But the burly Serbian up front would tend to bail them out in the Championship. Up they go into the Premier League, and obviously relegated again. And then we've got to this point where Scott Parker seemed to be none too happy with recruitment, and when the relegation was confirmed, he was saying, oh, and we'll now have to build another new team because the likes of Areola, Anderson, Lookman, Aina, Loftus-Cheek were all on loans, and we're going to have to go back to their parent clubs. So we knew the fallout was coming. So I'm going to make an assumption here, which is not too brave, but probably true. I can't prove it. I suspect these conversations have been going on a while. We knew the link with Bournemouth was strong, and I think it was just which cards were going to go down first. Bournemouth were ready to sever with Woodgate, and a lot of staff there at Bournemouth who had been there for a lot of years under Eddie Howe, they were all ready to do that. They were waiting, I believe, for Scott Parker and the severance and mutual consent to be done at Fulham. So that was all being discussed. So I would suspect with Marco Silva out of work, they could have been talking to him, perfectly legally for the longest time and just ready to get all of this announced. So that's been the kind of spokes on the wheel, and the wheel has all finally turned now, and we've seen everyone coming back to pre-season on Monday, and perhaps 7-10 days ago, Woodgate's in at Bournemouth, Parker's in at Fulham, etc. And now Parker's at Bournemouth, Woodgate's out, and Silva's in at Fulham, and everything is all good to go. This is what is left over. And look on the left there, that is the squad. And there is a bit of a sense that, like I suggested, those borrowed players in the Premier League were going to come out. And a lot of these players actually got Fulham promoted, didn't they? And there was this weird idea that they would all possibly come back in the Championship. It does seem a rather strange way to run a football club, to have a load of Championship players, for them to get you up, to bomb them out in the Premier League. Okay, that makes some sense. It's rather ruthless. But to bomb them out short term for loanees, get relegated, and then bring them back in. Look, let's be honest, we're going to see that, aren't we? But if I'm Adoy, Hector, Ruddock, Reeve, Brian, who scored 2 goals in the playoff final, Kearney, Johansson, even Mitrovic, I'm thinking, okay, it's a new manager, it's a new slate. It's not the same manager who thought I wasn't good enough now bringing me back because there's not budget or salary to to have Areola, Anderson, Lookman, whoever, those loan players, Loftus-Cheek. So let's be honest, we can all sit here and pick. I'll do it right now. Ruddock, you can then have Hector and Reeve, Mawson as a back 2 or 3. You can have Tetty. Christie's been promoted out of the league before. Anthony Robinson. You can play left back. Harrison Reed. And then you've got your Steph Johansson and Tom Kearney, who have been promoted now twice with Fulham out of this league. Josh Onoma obviously scored in a playoff semi-final. And then Knockhart was the best player in the division a few years back with Brighton. Cavaliero got promoted out of here with Wolves, and of course Mitrovic is your Championship cheat code who just seems to guarantee you 20 plus goals in the league. So player for player, there's a very reasonable argument to say that these players here in this squad have proven not once, not twice, but some of them even more to be high-end Championship players, more than capable of pulling a promotion out. I suspect a few will have to be sold to balance books. I'm looking at Anguissa, for example. I think he's got a higher ceiling. I think someone like Lamarchin probably came in on big money and might need to be shipped out. But in the main, perhaps Johansson will get his move to QPR done. But hey, who knows if it really is a clean slate. Maybe Silva will want to look at them. But if I'm a Fulham fan, I'm kind of like, okay, well, these players took the team up in 1920 and then weren't deemed good enough for the Premier League. So where is the long-term outlook here? Who can, these are high expectations, who can take the team up and then play in the Premier League? Because there's plenty of evidence now. Fulham have been promoted the last 2 times they've been in the league. There's plenty of evidence they can do it and plenty of evidence these players. So I think what we're saying is expectations are very high. And look, I mean, the odds at the moment, that's from our friends at Betfair, fairly straightforward, aren't they? Essentially, you have the 3 year 1 parachute teams with that financial advantage. Excuse me. As the 3 favourites, Fulham and West Brom just a hair ahead of Sheffield United, all with new managers, but all with, Premier League experienced players. Obviously, Sheffield United have been up there for 2 seasons, Fulham and West Brom just for the 1. And then you've got Bournemouth, your remaining year 2 parachute team, because frankly, Norwich and Watford would have been the year 2 parachute teams. They already got promoted. And then you've got your playoff losers there, Swansea and Barnsley, obviously Brentford went up through the playoffs, and Bournemouth are there as well. So it's a bit of a speculative odds at the moment, but you can see the bookies are not prepared to pull too much of a big liability, and Fulham are expected to be up there challenging, and we'll see how Marco Silva does. Can he transition to the Championship? You would think he should be perfectly capable of doing that with his experience. And again, look at the squad. All of these players, pretty much every last one has been promoted. There's barely any other than, let me wind. Oh, it's there anyway. Other than people like Anthony Robinson, who sort of arrived last year, Kenny Tete. So what you can say, I'll rephrase, all of these players have either played in the Premier League or been promoted with Fulham before. So whether that's 2 and 2 together, logic and making 5, I don't know. But the expectation will obviously be promotion. Now, this story broke yesterday, and I was just about to go out typically, so I put a tweet out and said I'd be doing it this morning. Got a few replies. Here's a couple from some Fulham fans. Actually, Sean's a Reading fan, but we'll read it anyway. Solid appointment. Everton drop off and Watford fallout stick with most, but with both, and Hull hit the ground running very quickly. Takes no prisoners. Deeney, for one, valued his training highly. Set for his squad and establish a core quickly. We know Carnes will back too. Manny, excited. Whether we like him or not, we haven't seen him in the Championship yet. Very true. And I think we should back the manager as fans. We don't know what he can bring to the table. It's been a long time since 2019. Very optimistic. Can't wait to see the brand of football he brings. And Joe down the bottom there, cautiously optimistic. Plays an entertaining style, which we have missed since Jukanovic. Hopefully we get back towards that free-flowing team a little more than relying on individuals like we did in 1920. I just want to pick up on that last point. Joe is right that they did end up relying on individuals. They relied on Mitrovic, didn't they? We all know that throughout the season. I went to loads of Fulham games, and I can remember 2 or 3 in particular. I remember one at Derby where they just weren't in the game and they were down 1, and then Mitrovic just piped up and scored up the other end. And we did see that more than once. What I will say about the style is Parker did try and get Fulham flowing, but didn't manage to do it. Obviously, it took Jukanovic the 2 seasons. It didn't take Jukanovic the couple of seasons to get them flowing. They were flowing, but they just didn't get up, losing in the playoffs to Sheffield Wednesday? Or was that the year? I can't remember. Or was that the year where Reading drew and Huddersfield drew 0-0 with it? Anyway, I don't remember. They were flowing though and didn't go up. So we will see. I do get the complaints that Fulham were a bit ponderous, and in the end, the big guy up top, I don't want to oversimplify it, but I think it was 26 goals in a team that didn't massively flow. And let's be fair, and do you remember in December of 2019, they were 12 points, I think, behind West Brom and Leeds. And there was never really a sense that season, other than Leeds, that anyone really, really got going. And sort of West Brom and Fulham bullied themselves back with that big ex-Premier League parachute power that these teams tend to be able to have over the others. So, look, that's my thoughts. That's the thoughts of some Fulham fans. Let me know what you think on the hire of Marco Silva as the new Fulham boss. Very much looking forward to seeing what he does, how he fits in, because he has been a bit nomadic at the other clubs and moved quickly, and how the points go on the table, because let's be honest, the expectations are high. It's a team that's been promoted the last 2 times they've been here through the playoffs with players that have also been either promoted or played in the Premier League. It's not that simple always, but if I'm looking at a job as a manager, I think I've got a chance of being back in the Premier League pretty soon if I take that Fulham job particularly. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that does now make up the Championship. Now we've got, with the moves between Barnsley and West Brom and Bournemouth and Fulham, and now Shop and Silva in at Barnsley and Fulham, I think we're all ready to go, aren't we? So looking good. And where are we? 2nd of July, just over a month away from kickoff. I've had my say, now you have yours. Get your comments in on Marco Silva, the new Fulham boss. I look forward to reading them, and I will see you very soon for some Euro watch-alongs tonight, and we'll probably get a transfer update in at some point as well. Thank you for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.